Imagine not being able to read the paper because your hands were shaking. Imagine not being able to read newsprint as your world faded to black. The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana.
With your host, Lee Barton, and co-host, Florence Myers.
Good morning and welcome to this week's National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. It is a pleasure to be here. Today, I am your co-host, Florence Myers, and we're here with your host, Mr. Lee Martin. We have an exciting guest today, Mr. Shawn Landrum, and his reality. So, good morning, Lee, and how are you doing today?
Florence, I'm doing fantastic. I tell you, we're just surviving through this winter weather that we're having. It's not as bad as it could be, but I guess we're going to complain either way it goes, huh?
Well, this is Indiana, so you already know.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, our guest today, as Florence mentioned, is Mr. Shawn Landrum. And how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself?
Okay, we're doing fine, and we're excited about having you on the show. And first, we're going to start talking a little bit about why we're on this show. This show is a production of the National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Newsline, Indiana is basically about. Florence, you want to start it out about the NFB Newsline and what we're about here in the state of Indiana.
Absolutely, Lee. NFB Newsline is a free audio information service for the blind, print challenged community. It gives us access to newspapers, magazines, TV guide listings, sales circulars, job listings. It gives us a plethora of information and it's right there at our fingertips. The information we can access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And there are various ways that we can access this free audio information service, Lee. I prefer using my iPhone. I have an app, so I access that free audio service using my iPhone app. We can also access it with our computers, our landline phones, a digital player from the Talking Book and Braille Library, a Victor Reader Stream, and another device which I would like to call the A-Lady. And again, that service is free and it's right there at our fingertips.
And I tell you, I really like the service myself. And many of the subscribers that we have to the service, they are enjoying this service as well. It gives them a gateway to our social medias, platforms, as well as information. As we know, we all are interconnected. And this brings about that interconnection. So we can read a plethora of publications, and I'll tell you a few of the related NFB Newsline publications. As we say, with magazines, and one of Florence's favorites is the AARP magazine. And she always gets on me about that, but that is a great magazine, and particularly for those that are seniors that like to keep up with entertainers and health issues. There's just a plethora of information there. And I really enjoy it because I can read about entertainers that came up during my era. And then young people can also go there and read get some history about entertainment and health, and maybe they want to be more concerned about have a better connection with their seniors, their parents, and things of that nature. Another one that I like is the Mental Floss, and that's a great publication, as well as Consumer Reports. That's very popular. Diabetes Forecast, Diabetic Living, Health, Girls Life, World Parents, Time Magazine, Popular Science. It's just a plethora of
It
magazines.
is. And another one of my favorites, Lee, is WebMD. It is a lot of information there. And also, I'm going to stop at this one, though. There's Poets and Writers, because I'm one of those people, I love to write. And Poets and Writers magazine is an excellent source of information.
Well, I'll tell you what, by you mentioning Poets and Writers, I know that the NFB is having a Poets and Writers challenge. And there'll be more information. You go to nfb.org and find out more about that particular challenge with Poets and Writers. Like we say, there's so much that you can read, even our international publications, such as Popular Science, Japan Times, The Daily Beast, India Times. And what I really like here lately with the COVID as it is, you can go on NFB Newsline, and we just have a section there from Johns Hopkins University that'll give you statistics on COVID and let you know what COVID is in your area, in the country, and around the world. So those statistics are there for blind folks and people that are print challenged to access. So there's really no need not to be informed. And this is what this service of the National Federation of the Blind, which is sponsored by the Indiana Talking Book and Braille Library Services in the state of Indiana. And we want to thank them for their support as well with this great service throughout the state of Indiana. So we're going to take a short pause, and we're going to come back with our guest, Mr. Shawn Landrum. You'll want to hear his story. He has so much to share. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
As I travel the nation, I read NFB Newsline.
I live in Valparaiso, Indiana, and I listen to my local news on NFB Newsline.
As a student, I enjoy reading current events on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
I'm Danny Wayne Beamer, Program Manager of the Elder Blind Program at the Will Center in Terre Haute, Indiana. I introduce the NFB Newsline to seniors in 13 southwestern counties in Indiana. I also utilize the NFB Newsline for my radio station public affairs shows. The NFB Newsline. Experience it today.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
Welcome back to this segment of the National Federation of the Blind Newsline, Indiana. And today, as we mentioned, we have an awesome guest, Mr. Shawn Landrum. And Mr. Landrum, again, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Is it okay if I call you Shawn?
Yes, ma'am. Please do.
All right. Shawn, first, we'd like to know a little bit about you. Some of the things that you're currently doing. I understand that you're an entrepreneur, you're a producer. Just give us a few more of the titles that you currently possess.
Yes, I'm a screenplay writer, producer of music and film.
Now, are you in the Indianapolis area, Indiana area? Is that where you currently reside?
Yes, ma'am. Just outside of Indianapolis. It's actually Westfield, Indiana.
Now, were you born and raised in Indiana? Tell us a little bit about Mr. The younger Mr. Shawn Landrum. Like, for instance, what high school did you attend?
High school, I went to Pike High School.
Okay. And did you have an interest in producing then?
At the time, not really. I was just going through the normal high school phase that a lot of kids went through. I kind of got into it my last year when I took a theater class, and kind of sparked my interest. Before that, I've written plays, things of that nature for school, but it never really grasped my attention the way it does now. But yeah, that would probably be my first beginning little intro into the magical world of writing and screenplays and all that good stuff.
Now, Shawn, I have a question here for you. As a high school student, we talked about how you access your information. Sometime it was you're more comprehensive using audio than reading literature. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, during my high school years, you were, excuse me, you read a lot, of course, high school, college, so forth. But I retained the information enough to pass the test and, do what I needed to do. But as far as getting the details out of everything, it was a different story. I think it was the first audio book that I was able to listen to, which was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And, being able to just pop in the CD and listen to it, I absorbed so much more of the information. And, I'm obviously happy for Audible now, right? But back then it was going to the libraries and trying to find CDs and soak in as much information as possible.
As you talk about audio and how it was important to you, what are your feelings as a father with children in school, with virtual learning today, the online learning? How does that impact your children and maybe you as a parent?
I mean, we had a pretty positive experience with it last year. I think the kids kind of enjoy having it both ways sometimes, sometimes being able to learn online, sometimes being physically in school. But all in all, we had a positive experience from it.
Okay. Now, Shawn, also, since we're talking about your children, what are their ages and what are their names?
Yes. My oldest, Shawn Landrum Jr., he is 16. My daughter, second oldest, Jordan Landrum, she is 13. And my youngest and my heart, Willow Landrum, she is 8.
8. So, Dad,
yes.
You've got your hands full, sir.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A dog too, so we have fun.
I bet. You reflected back about how it was easier for you to learn using Audible books. Mm-hmm. And it makes me think about back in the day, so to speak, where a lot of people use radio because radio had a way of helping you use your imagination. You can visualize what was going on. And I think a lot of times we use that with the audio description of movies. And so I can kind of understand how you would reflect to, you're using audio books as a way of retaining your information. We all learn in different ways. And I think that for people that are audio, such as yourself, I think that's awesome.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, it actually, kind of opens, like I said, it opens up a new world. Being able to hear it, the actions and what's going on, and maybe something's going on in the background that you're not paying attention to because you're trying to listen to a character or trying to focus in on what someone's saying or when you're reading it, same thing. So yeah, the audio is definitely a lifesaver for myself.
And for me, and for people like myself who are blind.
Absolutely.
You're so right
Absolutely.
about that, Lawrence. And that's what kind of drew me to Mr. Landrum here. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that and some of his ambitions and his desires and some of the few ups and downs and turnarounds that to get him to where he is in his young stage of life, still at the age of 38. So very productive young man, and we'll be right back to give you some more incentive, and hopefully it'll inspire you and your children as we talk to Mr. Shawn Landrum. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I am a CFP practitioner, and I happen to be blind. I rely on NFB Newsline to keep me current with Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org. If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I use NFB Newsline when reading Hammond Northwest Times.
Using NFB Newsline, I read the Christian Science magazine.
Dad, you read Jerusalem Post too.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Live the life you want. Read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
Welcome back to this segment of the National Federation of the Blind Newsline, Indiana. And Shawn Landrum, you're sharing your reality. Wanted to find out what impacted your life. What changed your life?
Man, I've had a lot of moments that have impacted my life throughout the years. I'd probably say one of the first ones that I can remember, I was driving home, I'm maybe 16, 17 at the time. Cell phones weren't all that popular yet, right? So I'm driving home on a if you can imagine, just a 2-lane highway with a gravel pit in the middle and another 2-lane highway on the other side. And I'm driving home 2 a.m, and I fall asleep behind the wheel. And the only reason I know about how long I fell asleep is because of the song that was playing in the background. So here I am, asleep at the wheel, and the edge of the street doesn't have a rail, so it's just a cliff. You go off, you're done. And I was probably asleep for about 15, 20 seconds. The car was driving by itself, and I started hearing the ridges, from the tire about to go off the cliff. And I opened my eyes, and the right side of my tire and the right side of my car, corner of it, is off the cliff. So I immediately do a left-hand turn. I spin out actually maybe 3 or 4 times, just 360s round and round into the gravel. And I ended up just flattening 3 tires. And, thank God I was safe. Then came the other thing. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and not a light pole or anything in sight, for miles. So trying to figure out what to do here. I sit there maybe 10 minutes, pitch black area. You would see a car, a person, on a bike, anything. You would see them pass by. No one passed by me. So I finally made the decision to get out the car and take a walk. And the area I'm in doesn't necessarily, it didn't necessarily care for my skin tone at the time. So, I was a little worried, right? So getting out the car, all of a sudden I see red and white sirens coming towards me. And it's like, I've never I don't think I've ever been happy to see the police before until that point, and he came up and I'm like, oh man, how did you know I was here? Because he came directly for me. And he says, well, an old lady called in, gave your full description. So like what I was wearing, right? Gave him a full description, let him know exactly where I was at, and that I was in need of assistance. And she never gave a name, and they don't know who it was. And, I tend to think that, there was an angel looking out for me that night.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I tell you, you talk about your faith base in your life, and I want to move on here because we're running short on time as well. But you said that was impacted your life and directed you in a whole different direction. You talked about other health issues that you had, the complications, and you've led yourself to this point to where I met you as a screenwriter, and I was sitting in on one of your sessions there. You want to talk about that particular book or a movie that you're producing at that particular time that I sit in on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that is a script that I am actually currently working on, probably about the 12th rewrite on right now. But the script is called Goons for Hire: The Rise of Norm. It takes you on a journey of norms, as he deals with the situations that are kind of plaguing us today. As far as maybe some sort of racism is concerned, things of that nature. Not being hired equally. It kind of hits on, like I said, it kind of hits on all the points. In today's reality and things that we're facing.
Okay, and you've had a number of film festivals. Will you tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll go to commercial break?
Yes, sir. So film festivals, I've been in, I want to say 72 film festivals worldwide. Goons for Hire: The Rise of Norm has won 65 film festivals and counting thus far. So I'm very proud of the work. And I'm looking forward to hopefully one day seeing it on TV.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with your inspirations, and you want to stay around and find out what his real inspirations are to his keys to life. Stay tuned.
I am a blind vendor, and one of the things that I truly miss is reading Vending Times magazine.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
It is a fantastic service.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
Bro, this new Travis Scott song is so lit. Straight up.
Yeah, it's fire.
Started on all this craziness, like he tryna die, but better switch it up quick. Let me teach a lesson, teacher in the building. Get ready for class, cause he about to get to school. And rule number 1, look before you cross the street, look left, right, left again before you move your feet. Rule number 2, hold up, I'm talking to you. Put everything down, you don't end up on the news. Rule number 3 is don't run, no driver is trying to hit a child, none. Rule number 4, while crossing the street, smile and wave, if not you might end up on your feet. Kids, it's lit to not get hit. Don't follow these rules and your life might end.
The National Federation of the Blind knows that blindness is not the characteristic that defines you or your future. Every day we raise the expectations of blind people because low expectations create obstacles between blind people and our dreams. You can live the life you want. Blindness is not what holds you back.
Welcome back to the conclusion of our show. And Shawn, we wanted to ask you if we would ask for a picture of inspiration, what would that picture be?
It will for sure be my family. Any and everything I do is for them. So yeah, my kids, wife, they're definitely the inspiration for me.
Okay, and are you have your children there with you?
Yes, I do actually.
Okay, can we bring them on real quick?
Sure. Who would like to come first? This is my second oldest, Jordan. Say hi, Jordan.
Hi.
And then my oldest, Shawn Jr. I want to step down. He's a big 6'1" now, so he's got to lean to say hi.
Hi.
All right, and then my youngest, come on over, say hi. Look at the camera, say hi. You gotta say it louder than that.
Hi.
Louder. Jeez. Yeah, come back here. This is my heart right here, man. All three of them, I love them, and you know, it's not just you know, what they do from my heart, man. Is they've actually been my film crew, you know, through every film festival I've been through. So everyone that I've had to send in a recording to say thank you for awarding me first place, and you know, probably 2,600 times they've been there making sure everything looks good, lighting's good, and their dad looks decent. So I do want to definitely give them credit for that, because they go above and beyond for me.
Well, you children continue to grow and be strong and help your family and your dad and love one another.
Amen.
All right. And what I like to end this with is train up a child in the way he should go, and when he grows older, he shall not depart.
Right. Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us on the National Federation of the Blind Newsline Indiana, and we'll see you next week. Take good care of yourselves, stay safe, and God bless.
The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. For more information, go to nfb-in.org or call 855-963-6476. That's 855-963-6476. The National Federation of the Blind encourages you to live the life you want.